fry an egg? Yes, we need the eggs. Yes, we need the salt. Yes, black pepper. No, not quite. Yes, we can put a little vinegar. Yes, you can put a little seasoning if you want to, but it's optional. But yes, you can put it in there also. Alright. So let's say we do not have salt. Right? We want for we egg without salt and it taste. So let's say we don't have salt. Is there anything that we can put inside this egg instead of putting salt? Yes. No, not quite. Yes, as with the back. Cube. Yes, you can put cube instead of salt. So, right? So, what are we doing here? When we take another cube, we take another salt, sorry, and put it in the cube. What are we doing here? Yes, you're replacing the salt with cube. Right? So from that game, can anybody tell me what our topic for today would be? Yes, Ezra? Replacing stuff? Close, but not quite. Anybody else? I like that word, substituting. So for today, we'll be substituting stuff. Right? We'll be substituting a number for a variable. So in that case, our topic for today is evaluation of algebraic expressions. Let me just put this up here quickly. Okay, big word, evaluation. Anybody know what evaluation means? Have anybody ever heard of the term before? Okay. Close. Yes, Gabrielle. Yes. So, please repeat it for the class. Okay. So I'll give you guys a simpler definition, one you can easily. Okay, class. So let's read. Evaluation is the process of finding the value of an algebraic expression by substituting an arithmetic value for each variable in the algebraic expression. So, here we see a word that is not so familiar to us. We see the word arithmetic. Right? So, arithmetic meaning numerical or numbers. Right? So, we're substituting numbers instead for the variables. So, each variable will have a value. Right? Okay, class. So now we'll be looking at a little video, and please pay keen attention as I'll be asking you questions after the video.
Now, to evaluate an expression, that just means to find the value of the expression. So what it equals once you work through it. We will go through 4 examples. 2 examples with 1 variable and 2 examples with 2 variables. These examples will help us learn how to evaluate expressions using substitution. They will set us up for success moving forward and give us a strong foundation to build off of once we start evaluating more complex expressions. Let's jump into number 1, where we have x plus 22. Now for numbers 1 and 2, we need to evaluate these expressions, or find the value of these expressions, when x equals 5. The the first thing that we need to do, we need to replace or plug in the given value for the variable. That's called substitution. So for number 1, let's plug 5 in for x and rewrite this expression. So we have 5 plus 22. Now we can evaluate. So we find out what this equals. 5 plus 22, that equals 27. So the value of this expression is 27 when x equals 5. Let's move on to number 2, where we have 8x. Now we have a number next to a variable. That means we are multiplying. So this is 8 times x. Let's plug in and evaluate. So we have 8 times 5. 8 times 5 equals 40. So the value of this expression is 40 when x equals 5. Now one thing I do want to mention about number 2, when we plug 5 in for x, make sure to use something to represent multiplication. I used a dot. We can't put those two numbers together, the 8 and the 5, to represent multiplication. That would look like 85. We can only put a number next to a variable to represent multiplication. So something to keep in mind. Let's move on to numbers 3 and 4, where we have 2 variables and multiple operations. We will start with number 3, where we have 7b minus a. So 7 times b minus a. Let's start by plugging in the given values for a and b, and we will rewrite this expression with those substitutions. So 7 times b, well, b equals 9, so plug in 9, minus a equals 10, so plug in 10. Now we can evaluate, but we have more than one operation. We have multiplication and subtraction, so we need to use the order of operations, PEMDAS, in order to work through this. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. Multiplication comes before subtraction, so let's multiply first.
Please pay keen attention to the steps as I'll be asking questions on them after this.
7 times 9 equals 63. Then we can bring down the subtraction sign and the 10. We end with 63 minus 10, that equals 53. So the value of this expression is 53 when a equals 10 and b equals 9. Lastly, let's move on to number 4, where we have a plus 18 divided by b. Let's plug in and evaluate. A equals 10, so plug in 10 for a, plus 18, divided by b, b equals 9, so plug in 9 for b. We have addition and division, so we need to go through the order of operations. Division comes before addition, so let's divide first. 18 divided by 9 equals 2. Bring down the addition sign and the 10. So we end with 10 plus 2. 10 plus 2 equals 12. So the value of this expression is 12 when a equals 10 and b equals 9. So there you have it. There's an introduction to evaluating expressions using substitution. I dropped links.
Okay, so Tristan, since you're disturbing the class, we'll start with you. What is the first step that was used in the video? Okay, would anyone like to help him? Yes. First, we substitute the variable in this case, x was equal to 5, so we substitute instead of writing back x, we write 5. Okay, what's the next step? John, yes. What's the next step? Okay, that's a good answer. So what John is saying, that if there is need to simplify it, we simplify the equation. Right? Anybody else? What's the next step? Yes. After we finish simplifying if needed, we solve the equation. So we simplify it. Okay. So here we see we have 7 multiplied by 9. So we simplify that first. We do all the step of multiplication. We have 7 and 9, giving us 63. Right? Another thing to note, right, is that we always use BODMAS, meaning bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So multiplication comes before addition, so we do multiplication first. Right? Okay, so now that we've gone through all of that, we know the steps. I would like for each of you now, I will pass around a worksheet, each of you to solve each equation on the worksheet. Right? And John, I'm watching you. Please do not disturb the other students. You have 3 minutes to solve that. Right? So, I'll be coming around to collect each worksheet. First, I'd like to say good job, as I see most of you would have gotten almost all correct. So good job to you. Moving on. So now I would like for us to do a quick recap of what we did today. Alright? So John, what was the first thing we did? Yes, we played a little game. Yes, we did play the game. But after the game, what did we do? Yes, we tried to get the definition for evaluation. And we said evaluation is the process of substituting an arithmetic value for a variable. Right? Isn't that correct? What's the next thing we did? We looked at the video, yes. And the steps, right? Mary, what's the first step? Yes, you write our equation and then correct. Now we substitute. Tristan, what's the next step? Yes, we simplify if needed. Anybody else? What's the next step? Yes, Gabrielle. Correct. We solve the equation. Right? So those are the steps for evaluating an algebraic expression. We also did some examples and we did some exercises. Right? So that brings us to the end